Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, why Glendale is aggressively pursuing new management for the Gila River Casino, arena that is, excuse me. Also tonight we'll hear how blogging is impacting journalism and the media, and we'll learn about a massive new general storage data platform. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The city of Glendale recently voted to start looking for a new management group for Gila River Arena. This just 6 weeks after the city signed a 2-year management deal with the Arizona Coyotes. Joining us now is Glendale City Councilman Gary Sherwood. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Why announce for arena management bidders now?
You would think that, I think the arena's been open about 14 years. You would think we'd have an idea of what it costs to run an arena, and we don't. We have a figure of $6.5 million that's been touted, and that's what we budgeted for. And quite frankly, I believe the counties thought that after that 2-year arrangement to get us by, that we'd start talking and try to figure out something that was more feasible for the city as well as for themselves.
But it sounds, again, the idea is that you just signed that deal with the Coyotes. Why the rush for the RFP now?
Again, my thoughts were that we would start negotiating a contract, and let's say by January or so that things weren't going very well, then we'd have to start covering our bases and look for something, because the majority of council wanted to be able to make a decision by the end of March, give that 90-day notice so they could take over management ourselves come July 1st, and ourselves, that would be through a third party.
Right. So for critics who say this isn't really the best way to be dealing with the Coyotes, would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
So
it kind of shows the team that right now we're not so interested in negotiating with them. Rather, we're trying to get information as to what it really costs to run an arena and actually bring folks in. And we did this before we signed the original deal with them. We had a couple for non-hockey, just in case that we couldn't have struck a deal for non-hockey. And again, there's folks on our council that think that we can be successful without those 43 dates.
When the 2-year deal was signed, both sides seemed like they were saying, okay, we're looking forward to maybe working together and finding a long-term deal. This particular action kind of puts that into question, at least from the outside. It seems that way. Does the city want a long-term deal with the Coyotes?
They do. I mean, on the surface, they say they want the Coyotes to stay, but they want it under our terms and whatever those are. Again, we were sending them $15 million a year, and the plan was we would get $9 million of that back in revenue streams. And year one, we didn't make it, and a lot of that was the ink had just dried before we even started, just before the season started. Last year they didn't have a very good ice product, although they put money everywhere else. So, in terms of their plan, they weren't expected to break even until year 3, so hence the city would go along with that. And so now, so before the 2-year deal, they had given us certainty where we would only have to give them the $6.5 million, and so we had that certainty that we wouldn't have to spend anything more than that. And I was really good with that, but there's those out there that thought that we could do better taking care of the arena management on our own. And again, not the city per se, but through another party. And maybe it's the same folks that are doing it today.
Do you think the team did enough to schedule enough non-hockey events?
They were disappointed with their third party after the first year, and we saw more events. I think U.S. Airways had 14 concerts and we had 12. There's not a lot of concerts that are traveling, and they're playing in the smaller venues, and we're always up against the Achen, which the largest promoter in town owns, so they're going to steer traffic towards that. Recently, the Coyotes partnered with them, so we wouldn't be cutting each other's throat when we're bidding against the U.S. Airways, and
yes,
because it turned out that in most cases, nobody was making any money on those.
Well, and it's interesting you mentioned that because the concern now, for hockey fans at least, is that the Coyotes are going to move to maybe another venue, and they're hoping that it'll be another venue here in the Valley.
Right.
If that happens, okay, the Coyotes lose, the Glendale loses the Coyotes. Some city people think that they can handle it, perhaps, perhaps not. But if the Coyotes move to another brand new venue, that's another brand new venue competing with yours.
Yeah, and I bring that up often, and so, you know, Phoenix comes up as an option, and I think that would have to be, I think they'd have to bring some private partnerships into that, because I don't believe they have the bonding capacity right now to put up a new arena. They just recently, 4, 5, 6 years ago, put a lot of money into U.S. Airways. And then if you have one of the tribal, you know, like out at Talking Stick, there's some talk there. And to your point, yeah, there would be another arena that we'd have to fill. And again, we can't keep what we have today filled.
What are you hearing from residents out there about this latest action and the situation overall?
Well, it's being presented that, you know, we're saving our citizens a lot of money over these next couple of years. You know, what they're failing to take into consideration is that Westgate, I mean, cities don't make or make money on arenas or stadiums. They use it for catalysts for economic development. And Westgate never got beyond phase 1 because of the downturn. There's a lot of activity out there now. There's a Dave & Buster's moving in, several new restaurants. You know, if that arena becomes inactive, number one, you're not going to get whatever concerts we had coming, because they want to go into an active. They want people that are used to serving drinks, food. They don't have to take a gas blower in there to take the dust off the seats, and they're not going to. You know, they're not going to attract that. They're not going to have the advertising. You don't have the sponsorships. You don't have the naming rights. I mean, there's just a thread of revenue streams that you lose.
So I asked if you heard from residents and what they're saying. What about folks at Westgate? What are they saying about, again, the quick RFP, the quick turnaround for this, and what seems to be a signal that the city doesn't trust the Coyotes and the city may not be interested in working with the Coyotes after this particular deal?
Well, I mean, I know just before the vote, there was a couple deals that were going to be signed, and they were lost. Now, recently we did hear, and I'm not sure it's even announceable, but we did hear of a company coming in and to replace Margaritaville. Again, you got 43 nights as a minimum that the hockey team, and if they're successful, you can pick up those playoff games. How do you replace that? What do you replace it with? You can't, there's no other sporting event that you can put in that arena that's going to derive that kind of traffic, even if you're only getting 12 or 13,000 fans a night.
When you ask that question, what do fellow council members, the mayor, what do they say?
They believe that that arena can be better utilized than what it has been. And again, I don't know with what. I don't know if you have, any number of things that I don't know what you can put in there.
Real quickly, there was an audit done, and it looked like the team may have shorted the city in naming rights and ticket surcharges, and this team still refuses to give over the kind of financial statements I think the city would like to see. Is there reason to not trust the Coyotes?
Well, you know, and they'll admit it as well. I don't think it's been the greatest partnership, and whether that was our city manager and what occurred, you know, losing her, you know, it hasn't been the best. You know, we really should have had an administrator, you know, in that building. It was frustrating for our audit team to look at the financials, and so again, but they have to realize that when you're dealing with a public entity, there's certain things that you have to go through, and you know, U.S. Airways does it. So yeah, there's a little distrust there with some of the council.
Last question, real quickly. The city's focus on sports, was it a mistake?
You know, it's hard for me to say. I mean, we kind of fell into both of them, right? I mean, the arena was supposed to go to South Scottsdale. They were trying all over the place to find a place for the football stadium. So we really kind of fell on both of them. But, you know, again, without that downturn, that area was fledgling. And I think the mistake that we don't talk much about was the spring training complex. And that's a whole nother subject.
Yes, it is. That one is going to cost probably the city more than even the arena. Councilman Sherwood, good to see you again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate being here.
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an 8 Insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the 8 Insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today.
Former Phoenix New Times reporter Tony Ortega was an early and enthusiastic advocate of blogs. Ortega is now the executive editor of the Lip TV, which provides news and interviews from various perspectives in short and long-form videos. He's also still very much involved in blogging and is back in town to address students at the Cronkite School of Journalism on the importance of blogs. Here now is Tony Ortega. My goodness, it's been a long time since I've seen you. Welcome
Ted,
back.
It's so great to see you. We used to spend a lot of time together.
We sure did. It was fun, and it's good to see you've done very well. You were kind of an early advocate of blogging. What was that all about?
You know, blogs originally really freaked out a lot of journalists. They didn't like the idea of people writing about subjects that journalists felt that they owned. And I really saw early on that a lot of bloggers really know their subject better than anyone else, and they really are dedicated to it. They may not cover everything the way reporters do, but they have one subject, they cover it well. And pretty early on, I started featuring material from blogs at the newspapers I worked at. I reached out to bloggers, and now I am one, and I really love it. I think it's a great journalistic form. It's it's gone through different kinds of waves, and there's less blogging today than I think there was before, because so many people have moved to things like Facebook and tweeting, and so there's less of that sort of long-form blogging.
From a journalistic sense, compare blogging to Facebook, to Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, there are people. Let me give you an example. One of the best blogs in the country is the SCOTUS blog. These are folks that cover the Supreme Court of the United States. I mean, and when there's a big decision coming out in this country, that's where you need to be. I mean, when the gay marriage decision was coming down, I was checking that thing and hitting refresh, because that blog is run by 4 or 5 just total experts that focus on one thing, and they know it better than anyone. Those are the kinds of blogs I think that are so valuable, and they've really changed journalism in a good way, I think.
How do you, though, and I hear from people that say, blogs, really not journalism there, because there's not a lot of fact checking, there's not a lot of the other side being presented, and you don't know exactly what you're getting, as opposed to NewYorkTimes.com or AZCentral. Where you know there's a journalism organization behind it.
Well, I think readers are smarter than journalists give them credit for. I think readers can tell when a blog is well reported, when they do want to cover both sides, because you're right. I mean, there's a whole spectrum of blogs out there, some that are more legitimate than others. But readers are intelligent. They can figure out which ones to take seriously and which ones to take with a grain of salt.
I know that some critics as well say that blogs are essentially they're parasites of major news gathering organizations. Is that a valid criticism?
No, I don't think it is at all. I mean, look, the major legacy journalism organizations are under siege. I mean, the business model is still really has not recovered from the downturn, and they really have still not found their way. And I'm very happy that there are still old-time news organizations that are funding investigative reporting, but they can't cover what they used to cover. And thankfully there are local blogs run by very knowledgeable people that are providing a lot of that coverage that the daily paper used to and just can't anymore.
The reaction from journalists, traditional journalists, early on to blogging, compare that to the reaction now.
Well, I think there's a more intelligent understanding about that now, and I think that you see journalists citing blogs more often now and doing it in an intelligent way. And there are organizations which kind of started as blogs that have become news organizations on their own that have really upset the entire industry. I mean, the whole thing is still in so much flux right now. We've seen some new media organizations come into the fold in the last few years, but there's a lot of investment going on, but I don't know about how much revenue. I think there's still a lot of question about how this industry is going to survive.
Indeed, and revenue is something, whenever we talk about the changing face of journalism and the new this and the new that, revenue streams and where you're going to get your money and how you're going to support these people, it's always front and center. I mean, I could start the Ted Simons blog and just be an expert on whatever I want to be an expert on, but eventually I got to buy some groceries.
Where's the money? I know, and there are some new platforms that help you bring money in on a blog that can help offset the cost. But no, I mean, you're never going to replace the great investigative and expensive reporting. Blogs really can't do that. I don't think the answer's been found yet as far as the business model for supporting investigative journalism, and it is worrying.
And we're talking, investigative journalism kind of goes down that avenue, but so many blogs kind of are more editorial in content than I think most journalists would be comfortable with.
Definitely. I mean, but again, readers know that. Readers can tell when somebody's riffing off the top of their head versus the SCOTUS blog where these people know what they're talking about.
Right.
And they've read those documents and they can explain them to you. Those are the blogs that do the most traffic, is the ones that people know they're going to get something out of that material that they can't get anywhere else.
And I know that your blog really covers a lot of things, but Scientology seems to be the basic. You've really covered this story over the years.
Yeah, you know, I started writing about Scientology here in Phoenix, actually, 20 years ago.
This is the birthplace of Scientology.
And this is the birthplace of Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard came here in 1952 and regrouped and created this thing called Scientology. And I've been writing about Scientology for 20 years, and you know, I treat it like it's a beat. I'm a beat reporter, and it's something that I know well, and I get tips all over the world, and that's what I put on my blog. And it's got a large following, very enthusiastic readership, and I mean, what more can a writer want? I mean, I really enjoy it, and it's helped me. I just came out with a book about Scientology. I was just on Alex Gibney's documentary, which won 3 Emmys on Saturday, by the way. So I'm doing well with the subject, and so I'm very comfortable with the blog form.
So when you speak to students, you talk to aspiring journalists, what do you tell them about your path? But what kind of advice do you get into blogging? Just avoid the major corporate? What do you do?
No, young people instinctively know they need to be online. And young journalists understand that they need to be putting something online, either in the form of a blog or something, so that they start to create an online presence. If you see the people that are really doing well in journalism today, they've all branded themselves through work they've done online. And so young people understand that, and they know they need to get online and develop some specialties, but they also need to learn the basics. They also need to learn journalistic ethics. I still encourage young journalists to get an internship at a daily newspaper, cover the city council, learn those basic skills, because they're still the essential skills we need.
They are indeed. It's good to see you. Congratulations on your success.
Thanks for having me on, Ted.
You bet. Tonight's edition of Arizona Technology and Innovation looks at new ways to store and maintain huge amounts of data. To that end, the University of Arizona is working to develop a general-purpose data storage platform. And here to explain is Nirav Merchant. He's co-principal investigator of the U of A's iPlant Collaborative. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. iPlant Collaborative, what is that?
So iPlant Collaborative is a platform for the next generation of large-scale analytics. It is a global platform that's used by many disciplines. And so users who cannot operate on their own laptops, desktops, the science that scales way beyond what they can manage, they come to iPlant to solve that problem.
And you got a $3.8 million grant from the National Science Foundation. For
That is
what?
correct. So the grant is along with my colleague Larry Peterson, who couldn't be here, and John Hartman. This is the next generation of science delivery platform for data. Think of it something like Netflix, where your experience on Netflix is pleasant because your movie starts right away. When you have science data and you want to analyze it, you have to wait for a while. But the twist is, you don't change your Netflix movie. You don't edit it and send it back to Netflix. In our case, people manage the data, they change the data, and send it back to us. So how do you manage that many movies coming back to you?
Indeed, it's one thing to download Citizen Kane or something like that, but what you're talking about, the goalposts are moving, to mix my metaphors a little bit here.
Absolutely. So we are talking of scales that are beyond a Blu-ray DVD. So these are like massive data sets, and it takes a long, long time, and people don't want to wait.
When we're talking about huge amounts of data, how huge?
So we have already approached what's called the petascale. So an average user now works with about 10 to 20 terabytes in our space. And so that is about a few hundred movies at a time.
How big is the hardware for something like that?
That's actually a very good question. The hardware is large, but it's highly distributed. So it is spread over about 6 institutions. And so you have the pieces of hardware that is highly distributed. So these are large racks, but they are all over the US and even outside the US.
My goodness, and I'm guessing the cloud is king here, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
How does that work? Did basically the different spots around the country just basically communicate through the cloud?
Yes, so when you reach us, it finds out where you're coming from and then positions your data the closest to you. So if you're coming from Texas, it realizes you're coming in from Texas and your data shows up there before you want the piece of it.
When you're doing like the human genome or something, it takes incredible amounts of data like this, and you say changes all the time, got to be on top of it, got to manage it, got to storage it. How do you make sure it's secured?
So that's what we use, different layers of encryption to make sure that when the data is moving around, it is in a form that nobody else can snoop on it. And also we do that because we want to be sure that when you get a copy of it, it is the full copy, because when you work with that amount of data, sometimes few bytes and bits get dropped off,
right,
and that is not a good thing. So when you start using these techniques, you ensure that the data is complete, at the same time it's encrypted.
What happens if the data, we come back and my genome is missing a gene here, and so something obviously fell off or something's, how do you go back and find it? Find that data?
That is a good question, and that's a very complicated process, but you at least know that it's been dropped off, and you reprocess it and you ask for the data again, and then it recompares and says, yes, something was missing, but now you have the full copy.
So and this is called the Syndicate, correct?
Yes.
Is that what this whole new idea of this general storage platform is called?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how does the Syndicate change from pre-Syndicate storage and management days?
So if you just take a step back and look at how we get data today, it is from point A to point B. There is no other place in between that is buffering it or keeping it for you. So when people wanted that data, they always came to the source. Now you have multiple copies of that data throughout the cloud, and so you get the closest copy, and the moment you ask for more, we start sending the other pieces that we anticipate you will need.
Interesting. And again, not only you, but that person over there and that person over there can make the same requests and get the same kind of results.
Absolutely, and make changes on that machine and send them back and let each other know what happened.
So you'll know the changes before, as they're happening?
Absolutely. As closest to real time as we can get.
And these, and again, when we're talking about massive data projects, human genome is one thing, but there are a variety of things out there that just take up a lot of space, correct?
Absolutely. And we talk of human genome, but the plant genome is even bigger and more complex.
I'll bet it is. And what happens if, all right, you're done with that? Can you erase this data?
Absolutely, because you know where the source is and it keeps the difference for you. So you are not required to keep the full copy because there are already multiple copies of that data throughout the infrastructure. So you can ask for it back. Much like watching your movie on Netflix, you pick it up where you left it.
And this is, what is that, like the content distribution network? Is that what that's called?
Yes, it's called content distribution networks. But as I said before, content distribution networks are really good at pushing data to you one way. We are doing it both ways. So when you make the change, that comes back to us and goes back to everybody else. So we redistribute that.
So is this up and operational now? What kind of timeline are we looking at?
We are looking to, in the next 6 months, to go live with it. We just got started this month.
This month, so still working on it, but you're pretty sure we're going to see this pretty soon.
Absolutely, and I hope to be back to talk more about it.
All right, well, we'll try to get you back. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. And Thursday on Arizona Horizon, we'll look at whether or not it's time to increase the gasoline tax. And it's Constitution Day. We'll mark the occasion by discussing the history of the Bill of Rights. That's at 5:30 and 10 on the next Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
ASU's Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering strive to advance research, education, and industry to transform our economy. Ideas, talent, and technology for Arizona. You can learn more at engineering.asu.edu/TV.